Hey witches, Jenny Love the Rogue Witch from Broom Book and Candle. And this is the 17 question, Getting to Know You Witchy Tag by the fabulous RavenFlower. 2 weeks ago, RavenFlower sent me the 16 question Witchy Tag from 2016, and I filmed it, edited it, and I never put it up. So I'm going to try to get them both up today. I have a problem editing, uploading. It's sort of the bane of my existence. Anyway, so we're going to get started on these 17 questions. First question is about fight or flight. And I suppose I'm in a situation both, because it would depend on the situation. In a recent video, I discussed a situation that happened to me in my business and my partner's business and other witches having similar ideas to ours. And I chose to fight a little bit. I didn't run away. I didn't sweep it under the carpet. I chose to walk right up to this individual and have something to say. Another recent event at my shop actually had me confront a town resident right out loud in the street. He was being sort of aggressive with my partner in a way that made me and my partner extremely uncomfortable. And I chased him down the street and confronted him in front of witnesses. Because if this goes horribly wrong, I want witnesses. So I pretty much banned him from my shop, and I was all about the fight. But there are totally instances where I'm flight. I suppose if someone pointed a gun at my head or I was shooting in a mall, you know, I'm going to grab my kid and I'm leaving the area. So, it really depends on the situation. I have to weigh all the options. I will say I'm not entirely spontaneous about it. I have a tendency, or I have tried to learn to think about it first. I thought about this woman that I posted about in a prior video with regard to my incense bottles. I actually walked up and said hi and walked away. And the more I thought about it, and then I went back over to say something. Same with this guy in town. He's been in my shop. He's a bit of a pest. He's not looking for help. He's not looking to better himself. He's just pretty much a pest, and an uncomfortable pest. And he pushes the envelope further. He's a little aggressive. And so I had finally sort of had enough and hopefully put an end to that situation. So this was a sort of long-winded answer for me to sort of say both. Question 2 is, what color do you connect with? I'm assuming this doesn't have anything to do with the color that you like to wear. I guess it could. I like to wear black, and I like to wear neutrals because I have shoe issues, and so I can find shoes in black or simple or stuff like that. So that's a sort of matching problem for me. I have a problem with shoes. So fun colors or white even, I have a problem with shoes. But a color I connect with, I really connect with certain colors at certain times. And I'm mindful that I connect with certain colors at certain times because I'm a Reiki master and a sound therapist and talk about vibration and color healing and color magic and all of that. So I'm mindful of the fact that I'll buy 3 orange shirts when I'm out shopping in one day. Why? What's happening? Or I'll buy green all day. You know, what's happening? I'll tell you, I can tell you what color I don't connect to, which is blue. I don't connect to blue at all. And I relate that back to chakra healing also, is that I have throat chakra issues. I have past life throat chakra issues that go way back, that I've had a number of different healings about. When I was in a intensive chakra class myself, we spent 1 month in every chakra, learning about it, living it, wearing it, doing affirmations for it. And when we got to throat chakra, I got laryngitis almost immediately, and have since been told that I have past life issues with my throat. So I don't connect to blue at all. It's almost like my throat issues dig their heels in because they don't want to be solved. Question 3 is, what is your sun sign, moon sign, and rising sign? I'm an Aries sun, Capricorn moon, Sagittarius rising. I pay a little bit of attention to the zodiac, astrology, very little attention. Maybe not as much attention as I should, considering I'm a tarot card reader. I am an herbalist. I'm very connected to the herbs, and I have a lot of information that I keep in my head, and it seems like the zodiac and the astrology charts and connections is just too much information to now have in my head also. So I'm working on that slowly. I'm getting more in touch with what that looks like, especially with regard to tarot card reading. Question 4 is, if you could change something about yourself, the world, and magically. So if I could change something about myself, I guess it would have to, I mentioned it now, I don't know if I'll edit it out, but I have mentioned it in this video that I have feet issues. I was born with a condition called Charcot-Marie tooth, and it's a form of muscular dystrophy. And I have issue with my feet. That's the best way I can describe it. They don't do what other people's feet do. I have lots of hardware in my feet holding them together, and to know me is to know that you probably wouldn't know. If you know me, you know that I have this issue. But if you don't know me, I just wear flats. I just look, like everybody else, I guess. The world. What would I change about the world? I would change so many things about the world. So many things. Starting with extremism, I guess, is the best way I can put that, because it's not about what you believe. It's about to the extreme that you believe it in. Anyone that is an extremist of any genre is incapable of having an open mind. So that's the thing I'd love to eradicate, is extremism. And the last part of this question is, if you could change something magically. And it was funny, I was going to respond to this, and then Athena Beth Black kind of shouted out that one of the things she would like to change magically was she would like to be more magical every day, like Jenny Love. I have to tell you, while I opened a shop, and while I consider my life very magical, don't get me wrong, a lot of opening a shop, Miss Athena Beth Black, is paperwork, paying bills, paying people, writing checks. I spend more time on the fucking computer, like being the secretary. Sometimes, some days, I get so pissed. Advertisements, inventory, ordering. It's not glamorous. It's not glamorous one bit. I make it seem very glamorous when I do videos from the shop and how glamorous our shop is. And our shop is glamorous, don't get me wrong. But it's a lot of work, and it is a lot of non-magical muggle bullshit, let me tell you. So I would also like to change my magicalness. Like today, I'm home, and I got up and I got it together, did yoga. Haven't done yoga in ages. And boy, let me tell you, just breathing in some positions, I realized that I am completely out of shape. I have done nothing for myself in 6 months easily. So I lit some incense, I lit some candles, I got in the mood, I did my thing. I was going to do videos. I am going to fill my cup up, going to drink some coffee, going to watch some bad TV. So magically, I'd like to do more magical things myself, which I sort of find funny that Miss Athena Beth Black thinks that I have such a magical life, and I'm really glad that people think that. And I do. It's not a complaint. It's an illusion. Is really what I can best say about that. Question 5 is, are you passing down knowledge, and if so, how? And that is a big resounding yes. I am passing down knowledge. I pass down knowledge to my children and to my community. I have classes at my shop. I really wanted to do a winter solstice celebration. And it was more about what they all could learn, my children. I have one from a previous marriage. My husband has 2 from a previous marriage. We were both married to Jewish people. Neither one of us were growing up. We were both raised Catholic. He was actually an altar boy. Mr. Rogue Rich was an altar boy. It's funny, right? So we were both raised Catholic. Our spouses were both Jewish. Our children were both all confused. It made no sense to any of them. Everybody just stopped sort of doing anything like the passing down of knowledge or having a tradition. I mean, everybody celebrates Christmas and, we still get together with family, but I am passing down the knowledge. I put together a winter solstice celebration where I made a spiral in the snow. I say I made a spiral in the snow as if my husband, Mr. Rogue Witch, was not out there shoveling a spiral into the snow. And we put about 100 candles in the spiral, and in the center we had 5 candles, and I had children walk the spiral and light the candles as I explained why we were lighting these 5 candles. It was a lot like lighting a menorah, and there's a representation of each one. And I tried to pull all 3 traditions together, pagans, Catholic, Jewish. I wanted you to see the common thread in all of this crazy world we live in and how things are really, really similar when they don't seem to be. I didn't want it to be about presents and gifts and anything else other than my family and my kids, and they learned something. And all of them said how nice it was. All of them appreciated it. It was a really good time. We made wish papers for the year. And on flying wish paper. So you wrote down what your goals were and what you wanted to achieve. And we then lit them on fire and they went off into the universe. And it was a good example of me passing down or even starting a tradition. I also took my son to ritual in Salem. We went to Salem for Samhain and went to Salem Commons and attended ritual. Christian Day facilitated, and it was awesome. By the end of the ritual, my son was asking the right questions and turning to dismiss the quarters, and I was a very proud mama. So yeah, between classes at my shop and my kids, I am absolutely passing on the knowledge. Question 6 is about an ancestor connection and who's coming through. So I have a grandma, my Mima, like Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory. I call her my Mima. I feel her. I get a sense of her. When she gives me a sign, I wholeheartedly get that. Other ancestors, I don't feel as much. I'm working on that. When I read tarot cards, I don't say I'm a medium. I don't tag myself a medium. But if you have a question for an ancestor, we will call that ancestor's name and ask them to come forth, and we will pull cards and we will ask questions to that ancestor, and I will just interpret the cards as I see them. But when it comes to yourself, it's hard to distinguish a memory from a message. So I think we tend to dismiss messages from our own ancestors. And I've been told by many psychics and mediums that I have a posse that comes with me. I know who they are, and I know they're always around, and it's always the same people. So I'm working on connecting with them. I actually took a class specifically about how to open my mind more to my ancestors, basically, and how to communicate with them. So, but for sure, my grandmother, she's sort of pushy. Question 7 is about performing magic alone or with others. Both. I love doing ritual, and I love having people around. I'm actually going to be performing a ritual for a local news station. They're doing a story on witchcraft in the Hudson Valley, and I will be facilitating a very simple new moon, waxing moon, bring good things in ritual to outside with some folks for this story that they're doing. I'm very cautiously optimistic that they're not going to portray us like the green face, mole having, cackling, broom riding witches. I explained to them that we embrace that. It's a form of power. We embrace that. I wear my wicked shirt and I have my little witchy glasses on. I find it fun to say things like "get your witch on," and I have little witches all over. But in all seriousness, I don't fuck around when it comes to ritual, and it's not a joke, and I'm a modern witch, and I'm hoping that this ritual really opens some doors, dispels some myths, and, you know, favors witches in a positive light. Question 8 is, do you feel there's one type of meditation? Well, since I'm an awful meditator, no, I don't. I try it all. Question 9 is, what is your favorite flower? Gerber daisy. Why is Gerber daisy my favorite flower? It's such a happy flower. I think that that's why. And daisies are so spring-like. They're just such a happy flower is really all I can explain. You know, you pick the flower, he loves me not. It's sort of one of your first spells as a kid. So I really like them. Question 10 is about new divination for the year. That's an interesting question because I have been told about a past life where seashells were a form of divination for me. And then I am to get back to the seashell aspect of my prior lives and divination. And I find that sort of interesting. I also find it interesting that the sea priestess is the one that won my incense bottle giveaway. I'm actually working on her bottle as we speak. And I had ordered some perfect seashells for her bottle. So I was getting back in touch with all of that. And I have a little seashell that my son gave me. And apparently I'm supposed to connect to this more. Question 11 is your favorite way to connect to the elements. And that is ritual, because you connect to all of them. I mentioned in the 16 question Witchy Tag, when the question was about which element do you connect to most, I have this weird thing. I like to connect to them all. So ritual is my favorite. Question 12 is coffee or tea. Yes. Yes. All of it. Yes. 13 is about having a witchy family and is bloodline important? And I say no, it's not. I have a witchy family. My mother is Sicilian. She came from Sicily. I'm first generation in this country. And I've told the story before that it's taken me a long time to figure out a lot of the things we've always done is witchcraft. I would read things in books now, and it's sort of funny that we've always done certain things, and it's now known as witchcraft. And while I do appreciate honoring the old ways, I am a modern witch. So I do feel that it's not important to have a witchy family to be able to take a practice and make it your own. I believe in improving on tradition and improving on witchcraft and learning from what the trailblazers have given us. So if you are from a witchy family, and let's say it's your 7 generations witch, and you do things a certain way because that's the way you've been taught, rock on. I have nothing to say about that, because I believe that what works for you, if it works for you, that's fantastic. But I also appreciate somebody who comes to this and creates a practice and a tradition all on their own. So no, I don't feel I feel it's important. It's important to those of us who sort of have a background or whose ways are honoring the old ways. I think that that's fantastic. I just don't think that that's the only way that it works. Question 14 is about your 3 YouTube faves. Yeah, this was a hard question. So I'm just going to spit it out there. I've watched everything Ember Honey Raven has put out in the world, and I appreciate her. She's a great storyteller. She holds your interest. She's fabulous. She's gorgeous. I can watch all day long. So I love her. I love Sammy Valens. She's another great storyteller. I love listening to her stories. I think she's fantastic. She is a very similar view to mine, and I appreciate the things that she has to say. I appreciate Miss RavenFlower. Her and I think started YouTube pretty much the same time, and I love that about her. I love to watch how far she's come in such a short period of time. I think it's fantastic. So those are my 3 heavy-duty channels I really watch. I never miss also anything Athena Beth Black does. I watch all of her channels. I may not watch every video that she puts out because I have to run the shop in Highland Falls, New York, so I wish I had more time to watch videos, but I don't. But I make sure I watch her Wicked Recovery every Monday and leave her a little love note. And yeah, so those are my go-tos. 15 is favorite witchy book. And I wasn't really sure if this meant fiction or nonfiction. So at the moment, I am still in the middle of The Inner Temple of Witchcraft. I was making videos about that. I would read a chapter and then I would do a video, and I stopped. I was really invested in it for a while, and my life gets in my way. So I need to get back to that because I was really enjoying Christopher Penczak's take on everything. I think he's a brilliant writer and makes things very easy to understand, being a witch in the modern world. I think it's fantastic. Question 16 is name an herb you haven't worked with yet. And being an herbalist, that's a tough one. So I'm going to say belladonna. I have belladonna tattooed on my arm, and I haven't worked with it. It's definitely one that I'm interested in working with, magically, medicinally, all of the above. So even I have a jewelry idea also with regard to belladonna. So yeah, belladonna. Question 17 is what are your goals for next year? And it's all about my shop. I would really like to have more time to myself. I would like my shop to be running itself, to be able to hire somebody to run it, and to have more time to do the things that I want to do. Both my partner and I are very invested in the town that we rented in. We'd like to do things for the kids. My meditation sound bout that's once a month is kids free. So kids under 16 are free if parents bring them. And we like to do things for the community. So I'd like to be able to do more of that, and more charity and more giving back and, community sort of stuff there. So yeah, that's my goals for next year. Oh, and I do know I mentioned it in the last video is summer solstice. My partner and I want to start a summer solstice festival. So we figure we start this summer solstice and start planning, and that's our plan for next year. So those are the 17 witchy question tags from the fabulous RavenFlower. And I hope that you enjoyed that. I believe it's tomorrow night, May 23rd, that I will be chatting live with the fabulous RavenFlower about all things witchy and my shop and my life and my craziness and her life and her craziness, because I got questions for her. I would love to pick her brain about just a million things. So I'm so looking forward to that tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that. And as always, you guys go get your witch on. Bye.